yeah.
That's the same channel that your other guitar is coming in on, so I don't know if we just need to turn the gain on that guitar down relative to the other.
What did he say?
That's the same channel that your other guitar's coming down on?
Yes.
So he's wondering, do we need to turn the gain down on that other guitar?
This one?
I'm not sure. I'll stand
I
for
don't
it.
know.
Okay, great. Okay, that works for me. Thank you very much.
It was something about the other guitar. It was the same channel coming in and out. Can you turn something down?
Yeah, that was the. You were asking where the noise was coming from.
Yeah.
And I think he Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. One more time. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away. Rise with the sun and welcome the day. That was the warm-up, y'all. Okay. No, I mean, really, it's the warm-up. That wasn't the opening hymn. Good morning. It's good to see each and every one of you. The opening hymn is on message, if ever there were one. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I welcome you to sing along with me. Would you rise? We call that popcorn, people, in church lingo. When my life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, the far-off hymn that is a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars, I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm, the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? That was just to make sure you were watching. Okay? That slide change was just to make sure you were watching. Let's do the last verse in two parts. Will you take the first and will you take the second? If you think I mean you, I do. I will be with you, at least until the end of the verse, and Amy will be with group one. Here we go. When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing. When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, I Our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? Thank you. Whether this is your first time among us or a time where you've lost count, I welcome you, and I welcome you back on behalf of the people, the community at First Universalist Church of Minneapolis. It matters that you're here. It matters that you're here again. When you visit, you help us to widen who we are. When you return, you help to confirm and continue a story that's been told for over 160 years, in song, in silence, in shared company. Now, there's a difference between what you're doing right now, here and online, and what you can get anywhere else. This beloved community of connections is made of these particular human beings, you and you and you and you and you and me and you, there you are, cameras, and you. Together, if we choose and if we work wisely, we can be of comfort to one another. We can squander not a moment on despair. We can find hope even in our sorrow. We can bring joy to each other's lives and shade to each other's days. Church is not a thing, it's a choice. It's a decision. And so only because you have come, and only because you have come, and only because of you, I can say, we are gathered for worship. To begin our service, we light the chalice cup with the flame, a symbol that we have held since World War II. It was a sign in the windows of the Unitarian Service Committee, a sign that safety was available inside the walls. May you also know that your life and your whole personhood has the right, and we seek to make sure that we're creating a space that can be as safe for every emotion, every dance, every sound, every song you've got. Would you join me in the words of covenant that we use to light our chalice? It begins with the all-important word, love. Say with me. Together let us say, love is the spirit of this church. Ooh, she's being interesting today. Not in a dangerous way. It's all right. That's where all the magic happens. Look, I think that's much better. I'm glad I had my Wheaties this morning. Today we continue a series I'm calling Art and Soul, a series where we're welcoming some of the finest fine artists that I have ever known and asking them to share some concert and conversation with us. There is more to learn of music than beauty, although there's plenty of beauty in it. Musicians are meditators, at least. They spend so much of their time concentrating. All artists do this, by the way. So much time concentrating with faith that something beautiful will emerge. And the thing is, the beauty emerges right there in the journey of faith itself. And so, I can think of no finer people to speak with us, to impart knowledge, than those who do the work of art inside our church, outside our walls, all over the world, and across time. Also, speaking of, because I wrote a little bit about this in The Liberal, but in the corner of, so please read that article. It's pretty good, if I say so myself. Oh my God, in the corner of my eye, the flowers today, are pretty magnificent. I'm not sure, Betty DeMars. See, okay. Thank your Visual Arts Committee members sometime. It takes ushers and greeters and attendees and congregants and members and visitors, and it takes all of us to make a community happen. And now, with community happening and all abuzz, we gather and we celebrate these moments of life.
I would like to begin by inviting our 5 to 12-year-olds to head on out, if you would like to, where you will do the work of art and soul from our classrooms as the rest of us settle in a bit more deeply here in this space now. Hear this poem as a meditation. It's called Monet Refuses the Operation. Do you know it? Oh, you will love it. It's by Liesel Mueller. Doctor, you say that there are no halos around the streetlights in Paris, and what I see is an aberration caused by old age, an affliction. I tell you, it has taken me all my life to arrive at the vision of gas lamps as angels, to soften and blur and finally banish the edges you regret I don't see, to learn that the line I called the horizon does not exist, and sky and water so long apart are the same state of being. 54 years before I could see ruined cathedral is built of parallel shafts of sun. And now you want to restore my youthful errors? fixed notions of top and bottom, the illusion of three-dimensional space, wisteria separate from the bridge it covers. What can I say to convince you the Houses of Parliament dissolve night after night to become the fluid dream of the Thames? I will not return to a universe of objects that don't know each other, as if islands were not the lost children of one great continent. The world is flux, and light becomes what it touches, becomes water, lilies on water, above and below water, becomes lilac and mauve and yellow and white and cerulean lamps, small fists passing sunlight so quickly to one another that it would take long, streaming hair inside my brush to catch it, to paint the speed of light. Our weighted shapes, these verticals burn to mix with air and changes our bones, skin, clothes to gases. Doctor, if only you could see how heaven pulls earth into its arms and how infinitely the heart expands to claim this world. Blue vapor without end. Amen. I love this poem. It calls my heart to expand to claim this world and this moment. It begs me to pay attention to what my own body is teaching me about time, about the joys of time's so-called affliction on my being. There are 2 age spots on my hands that I noticed right around my 40th birthday recently. And I know there will be more soon, many if I'm lucky. But even now, they change how I see my hands. All of a sudden, my hands are no longer my own, but they are also my mother's, my grandmother's. If I paint my nails just the right shade of burgundy, they are my mother's. Just the right shade of blushing pink, and they are my grandmother's, uncannily. I'm moving through the world all of a sudden, typing, making coffee, brushing my children's hair, together with them. How has time marked your body or your perspective in ways you would not trade away even if you could? What angels are present that you could never see until now in this incarnation of your body? Let us sit in sacred silence now. As Dr. Glenn Thomas says, in the absence of intentional adult sound, let us notice the angels. And let us expand our hearts even further now to hold each other in this room, across the dimension of online space where our beloveds are joining us through Zoom and YouTube, into this sacred moment, we offer our pains and our praise to hold together. What do you need us to hold together with you? Please share it out loud or in the chat as you are moved, so that we may bear witness together. We'll share on behalf of Mary Sambo that she broke her ankle in 2 places last Tuesday. She was at the dog park with her dogs when a dog jumped on her and she fell. She's currently at home, but the breaks will require surgery this week. We hold her in healing love. I also share that our beloved Lauren Wythe's month off between jobs has been interrupted by a breast cancer diagnosis. She's grateful for both First Universalist and the UUA for their grace and care as she makes a significant job transition while also making medical decisions and starting treatment. She welcomes your prayers, beloved First Universalist folks, and your healing energy as she approaches surgery and learns whether additional treatment will be necessary. If you are feeling the pull, as I know that I was, to share your prayers with her directly, you are welcome to send a card here to church and we will make sure that it gets to her. Let us sing now. There is a reason our offering, our time of practicing giving and receiving comes in this moment after we have shared and held each other in collective love. It tenderizes us. It is from this place of hearts expanded to claim this world, blue vapor without end, that we give and receive. We know when we are made of the same shafts of sunlight as the great cathedrals, when we know that we are islands made from the same continent, giving and receiving until all have what all need, becomes the obvious right and good and joyful thing to do, no? Speaking of joyful, I have been asked by the board to report to you that the magical seeming anonymous $100,000 gift that was promised did actually arrive and is real. It is real, it is in our bank account, thank you. Let that inspire you, not intimidate you, to give boldly this morning. We honor our partnership with the Center for Leadership and Neighborhood Engagement with our offering this morning. They aim to partner with the North Minneapolis faith community and neighborhood organizations to provide transformational experiences that increase intercultural competency, and in doing so, change the world around them. So please give boldly if this is a Sunday when remembering interconnection offers you that joy, and if this is a Sunday when remembering interconnection offers you respite and relief and reminder to receive what you need, please, please exercise that spiritual courage to talk to me after worship or send me an email, ashley@firstuniv.org. We are already receiving our offering, so let us continue to do so in person or using the link online that I will drop in shortly.
Well, all right. All right. Friends, Dean has given his own introduction in the form of music. Let me add a few words. The one thing I have really nerded out about in these last couple of weeks talking with artists has been I've gotten to look up everything I can about who they are, what they've recorded, and what shows they've been in. It is so fun, and it's so dangerous because hours go by, and because it's work, you justify. Anyway, the truest thing I've heard. I heard written about Dean is this sentence: he is part comedian, part philosopher, and all-around musical genius. Dean McGraw transcends genre and pioneers his own. Grew up in a musical household, and our beginning was right here, actually, in this corner. This is how we met, and since then we have made a point of loving to talk with one another. I have been privileged to witness that genius and that philosophy and that artistic mind flow from Dean, and it is a pleasure and a privilege to know who you are and to know you. Friends, the latest in our Art and Soul series features the guitarist extraordinaire, who I now welcome to First Universalist again. Welcome back, Dean McGraw. Yeah, go ahead.
I would like first to say the poem that you read, Ashley, is it? I've sent that poem to my colleagues around the world, and it has touched lives. And I'll just mention one story. Can you hear me? Well, if you take the mic so that the people online can hear. Oh, people online. Thank you. I'll just mention one story. I have a friend who is a PhD in mathematics from St. Paul, Minnesota, and she traveled the world with her genius and ended up in Bordeaux, France, teaching mathematics and French. Her husband is also a mathematics genius who was paid by the French government to just sit around and think. How often does that happen? Anyway, I saw her maybe a month ago, a few weeks ago. She came to St. Paul to visit her brothers. And after her husband's death from a brain tumor, from cancer, from that awful disease, and many conversations happened, but I sent her a copy of that poem that I didn't know about until GTR, that's what I call him, Glenn Thomas Rideout, or Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout. They're all true. Yeah. But maybe you don't know this, but on shorthand for guitar is GTR. So I sent that poem around, and Dee Dee got it, and she texted me back yesterday or the day before, and it's touched so many lives, and I owe you, sir, and you people, and you, and all of you in this room, and my wife, my beautiful wife, Megan Flood, and the tigress, Amy Bryant, and thank you so much for that poem. Now, it's time. Thank you. I don't know what year it was, but my brother was at Harvard University, and he brought home some vinyl. Remember vinyl? And I went through his collection, and one of the records that I listened to was Workin' by the Miles Davis Quintet. And I was really digging it. I was really enjoying it. I think side 2 starts with Ahmad's Blues, Ahmad's Blues. Anyway, that's just a trio. Red Garland, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. And I think the next tune is Half Nelson. And I was really enjoying that too. It's up-tempo. And we had one of those kind of not great record players, but when the saxophone solo started, my life changed in a sudden instant, like a revelation, like Zen, Taoists, Christians talk about, whoa, suddenly something changed. It was John Coltrane playing the tenor saxophone. There was my life before that started, when I was a young me, and then there was a life during that saxophone, and it was like I was not stuck, but completely focused on something that I didn't understand, but introduced me to the mysteries of what? Mysteries of mysteries? I didn't know. But it grabbed me, and it never let me go. So there's my life after that solo ended, and that's the life I'm living now. Years later, I found out, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to play it for you. Glenn, help me. No, I'm kidding. It's a piece of music written by John Coltrane. It's called After the Rain. Years later, I was in California with one of my beloved and esteemed colleagues traveling, and he left for the day. We were in a cabin. It was a day off, and we were in Northern California in Humboldt County near Arcata, not Arcadia, but Arcata. They grow marijuana there. I didn't smoke it, but at that time. If I did, I didn't inhale. Many people remember. Okay. I didn't smoke it. So I sat in that cabin and looked out, and there's Douglas fir and redwoods and all kinds of birds and very quiet. Silence. There was silence, and it started to rain. And I had this little tape thing. You know those little tape recorders you take around with you that have cassettes in them? No? Yes? And I learned After the Rain by John Coltrane. So there was the moment when I was listening to the John Coltrane Quartet, a recording made in 1956 when John Coltrane was a heroin addict. Now I'm jumping ahead to a different John Coltrane moment. In 1957, he went into his cousin Mary's apartment in Philadelphia, North Philly, and spent a week withdrawing from alcohol and heroin. He walked the hero's walk. And when he came out of that moment, those moments, that suffering, that horror, he dedicated his life to spirit, to the search for the evolving search for what means the mystery. God? Is it God? Is it the Kabbalah? What is it? Is it Allah? Is it? It has many names, or as Lao Tzu said, the Tao that is the eternal Tao doesn't have a name. Anyway, and he created after that his masterpiece, many rock musicians say, and many other musicians, called A Love Supreme. Listen to it sometime if you get a chance. That was with his classic quartet. Anyway, that was a piece that I learned. And in that moment, I realized what I had to do was dedicate my life to spirit, which for a guy that's a freelance musician trying to carve out, Amy knows what I'm talking about, GTR knows what I'm talking about, and Megan, unfortunately, knows what I'm talking about. By the way, this is my wife, Megan Flood. Would you please stand? She won't stand. Would you please? Truthfully, if not for her, you wouldn't be, GTR would have moved on to Davosero because I wouldn't be here. So thank you, Megan, for all the blessings you've given me and for all the patience. So, John Coltrane, it's time for me to figure out how to get into spirit. Well, I have to make money. I have to support things, and I'm living with, my colleagues are troubled people like me. And art is art. And how do we get back to art and away from the corporations that are trying to take that money away from us? And how do we put up with so many people telling us that they don't like John Coltrane when we play the music or we mention him, or come up to me after a concert where I've played, a tribute to the Beatles and say, because they identify me with John Coltrane because I talk to him so much, why do they need to come up to me and tell me they hate this or that? That's part of our business. Protecting, I don't know what. Anyway, John Coltrane. So, After the Rain, guitar, I'm hoping you'll come over and talk to me because I'm breaking down and stuff.
Guitar.
Glenn Thomas Riddle, let's talk. You want to converse
Sure.
about Monet and Matisse and all that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, here are a couple things one of the things that we recently discovered that we share is a love of French Impressionist art. And so, Olu, if you would pull, slide 31. So I have first of all, Dean, I'm wondering, this is kind of related to that, but your album cover for Kitchen Man,
Yes.
is that based on Picasso or anything like?
Well, it's a controversial cover. The Germans liked it, but the Americans didn't. I was
Okay.
on 2 labels at the time. So in Germany, the original one of Kitchen Man, and then the Americans didn't like it, and they wanted to change the title, and they put another nice thing on their cover.
Oh, okay.
That's my friend Nick Lethert, who lives in Minneapolis, and he just does stuff.
So let me ask you the same question that you asked me
Yes.
a couple of days ago. What is it about French Impressionist music that draws you? Or French Impressionist art, I should say, that draws you?
And the answer, I'm going to try to answer your question, but the first answer is, I don't even know. Same thing with Half Nelson, same thing with meeting you, for example, and riding down to St. Cloud with you the first time. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling it. So one of the things that happened to me is my mother was, I think, French heritage partially, and she was really into art. And she turned me on to the collection, that book called Jazz that Matisse put out. Have any of y'all seen that little tiny rectangular book?
Oh, we got it. We got a copy. Keep going.
Yeah. Good luck for that. But
Oh, it's got it right here.
yeah. So this is the story, and she told me the story that this great painter, and there's plenty of paintings by the abstract, they call it, artist, Matisse. And he had cancer. There's cancer again. He had an illness. He overcame illness. And there's a quote from him that I can probably find on my cell phone, but I don't want to look at a computer screen when I can look at Amy and my wife and you and Ashley and all you wonderful people. I'll just try to paraphrase it. Matisse said, I got to this point in my ability to look at things, kind of like Monet said, and this is where I am now, and I was not able to stand and paint, which was my way. I had to spend a lot of time lying down. This is Matisse talking, and in his wheelchair. So he got some construction paper or some kind of paper, and he took a pair of scissors and he cut out shapes, and he pasted them on a wall with a sort of a bland background, and then he rearranged them, and then he started playing with them. And by the way, this particular collection, he was thinking circus was going to be the title, until he realized what he was doing was a process similar to what so-called jazz musicians do in America, from the jazz tradition, where they feel something and they start working with something that they hear in their head, not on paper, not on a computer screen.
Yeah, that's actually where I was hoping you would go, was this idea, and that's Matisse, by the way, on the top left, doing the cuttings, and some of the examples of the things he was able to do with the paper art. You know, that paper art was happening, many centuries before this. It's the innovation and the particular technique of this that is new, and the fact that it's happening now in Europe that is really exploding at this time. But we were, I thought it was an interesting thing. You brought this up, I brought this up, that Matisse often is seen at the end of his life as ailing and debilitating, and the paper cutting is about like it's the best he could do, or it's what he had left. When actually, when in actuality, he was pioneering, innovating, and realizing some of his dreams at that time. He never had. He had a desire to paint a large work that could fill a room, and he was never able to do that in his life until he discovered cutting the paint. And there's that jazz element to it. It's when he discovered like how to work himself into a different medium, then all of a sudden it became possible. The bottom left, the ones that kind of look like hands, that actually is a paper cutting that spans, oh my goodness, more than half the width of this room. Yeah. It goes on and on and on. That's just a tiny little cutting. Okay, that was funny, people.
Yeah, laugh better.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So, I am interested always in this question as your career advances, as musicians, our bodies are part of the instrument. So, as your body changes, what are you noticing change in your art? How do you approach the roll of time? In your music.
First of all, wow. Okay. I'm going to drink that in for just a second. Hope I don't cry during this next thing. Yeah, in the second cancer, I lost half of my technique when I came back out of it. And I'll talk about the second cancer later, maybe, but it was liberating because, artists have this pressure, be like I want you to be, like, be faster, be louder, excite us. And the current culture of MTV, for example, is they don't show you the concert, they want to show you the next shot that's going to keep you from changing the channel. Mm-hmm. You're not focusing, you're getting excited over and over again. Well, that dies quickly unless you're McDonald's, and then you've got a promise you can make them. This is the cheapest food that you can get that answers the question, do you like salt and do you like sugar and do you not care about your bodies? So there's that, and it was liberating because I felt like I could say to people, hey, I'm a different guy now. I lost half my technique, and I can't play like I used to play, and I want to play longer notes with longer spaces. Slower. That's what I want to do. And most people said, wow, that's so beautiful. Could you bring the tempo up? Can you do something that'll keep our people from falling asleep?
But that's the thing, right? It's the and I think McDonald's is the right metaphor. This worship service, by the way, is not sponsored by McDonald's in any way.
You did it again.
Okay, look. So there is that sugar rush that is infusing. And it's consumerism, it's capitalism that is infusing all sorts of industries. It's telling us to go for the most neuron impacting thing we can find and there's not this space for beauty, and there's not this space for humanity in the music. I find. That's it. We were talking a little bit about click tracks, and that click tracks are those things in recordings where a computer holds a beat for you, and human beings don't do that. Sometimes, just like our hearts, sometimes the beat is a little bit slower, sometimes it's a little bit faster, but with a computer, it just keeps you right on
Scientifically accurate,
Yes,
mathematically accurate.
mathematically accurate, and we were talking about what that does to music, and there is a change that happens. There is a loss of something we can't really articulate sometimes, but we can feel it. We can feel the fact that the ebb and flow is gone out of the music. And it does that over and over. At the same time, it's a helpful tool. And what you said yesterday, tool, yes.
Computers are great as an assistant, as a servant, as a tool. Maybe that's the best word. But they're really horrible in terms of maintaining humanity as a master, as a boss. That's what I said.
I wonder if good time to play.
Sure.
That's
Want to play some music?
yeah. Let's do it.
I want to say one thing about that. When's Davu coming?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, you'll see one of my all-time greatest teachers, if he comes, if it works, Davu Seru. And what he often says to me is, when we talk like this, computers this, humanity's that. And so computers, I don't like a click track, or I wish I didn't use a click track, or I'm getting confused by myself. Sorry. He says, why can't you use both? Sometimes a click track works really well because it makes something else happen as a servant. But if you use it all the time, then the humanity gets lost. So that's one of the lessons I learned from Davu over and over again is, why can't there be a time for this and a time for that? Isn't that ancient Jewish wisdom from Ecclesiastes?
Yeah.
Does he have
Ecclesiastes,
a lawyer?
I think that's well in the public domain.
Is it?
Ecclesiastes.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
But no, I do think there's something to that. Like, there is time for the treadmill, and then there's time for a neighborhood stroll.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
How many people heard that? And sometimes you walk to the treadmill and get off the treadmill and then walk again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's play some music.
Okay.
Which one? Where we time-wise?
Come Sunday,
Sure.
since we're talking about long notes in space.
Yeah. Did you hear the space? Did you hear the space? Louder. Did you hear the space? Now, dynamics. Did you hear the space? Whisper. Did you hear the space? Isn't that beautiful? And I just want to say, maybe I'm taking too much time here, but I'm looking over here at this beautiful piano. Wow. Lucky y'all. That's the best.
Right?
Yeah. And then this guy, and I know Franco, just love Franco. And so that was a really good choice, whoever spent that money. Thanks, well done.
Yes, agreed. I think we got time for like 1, 2 more.
Songs? Or?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's,
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, what's up?
My console is frozen.
Okay.
So we can continue to, if the mix is frozen, basically where it is, or I have to reboot.
This is John, everybody.
Johnny Sites.
So that acoustic guitar and that microphone is live and hot, so if that's all we need for the rest of the service, we can keep going, or I need to reboot.
We're cool.
Okay, great.
All good.
Yeah, should I just put this down here?
No, you're good. Yeah, it's fine.
Who is that masked man? I call him Johnny Sites. Okay. I'm going to play a song that I hope everybody sings along with, and then we're going to close out with that thing. You know the one.
I think I do.
Yeah, okay, good.
That was a very impressionist way of saying that.
And I want to say one more time, thank you so much, Megan Flood. And I call her the Tigress. I'm not so sure she likes it, but Amy Bryant and Ashley and all the people here, Jen Crow, and I see familiar faces and I don't know everybody's names. And Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout. It's been a real educational for me and wonderful experience hanging out with you and talking to you,
Yeah,
sir.
me too.
And Steinway and Sons, thank you very much. He improvised that humorous part. Okay. Oh. Beautiful beloved goddess, Megan. Do you want to come here and sing this with me? No.
It was a very direct no.
We said we'd walk together, baby, come what may. That come the twilight, should we lose our way. If as we're out walking, a hand should slip free, I'll wait for you. If I fall behind, wait for me. That's the line, come on. I'll wait for you. If I fall behind, wait for me. One more time. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. We swore we'd travel, baby, side by side. We'd help each other, baby, stay in stride. But each lover's steps fall so differently. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Now everyone dreams of love lasting and true, but you and I know what this world can do. So let's make our steps clear, so the other may see. I'll wait for you. if I should fall behind, wait for me. Really loud again. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Amy and Glenn, I'm gonna vamp here. Got anything you want to say musically, with words or sounds?
I ain't got nothing to say.
He's got nothing. Anybody else?
I'm actually a very shy person.
Are you?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now there's a beautiful river in the valley ahead. There neath the oak bough, soon we will be wed. If we should lose each other in the shadow of the evening trees, I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Let's build it. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Build it. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Let's take it way down. I'll wait for you. If I should fall behind, wait for me. Thank you, people. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking, talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind I stayed on freedom. Come on, sing. Walking and talking with my mind I stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ain't no harm, just keep your mind stayed on freedom. Ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. Ain't no harm, keep your mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's vamp on A. In the civil rights movement, they took the old songs from the Christian tradition and changed the lyrics. Here's how it used to sound before they changed the lyrics. Woke this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Now let's march together. I woke up this morning with freedom mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind I stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind. I stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Bruce Henry. I woke up, sing with me. I woke up, this morning. I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Thank you, grazie. Prossima. Vielen Dank. Mamo, ja t'agre. Je t'aime.
Hey! Thank you. Thank you. Friends, take music with you, take art with you, take the will to be expressive. May joy fill your lives. May hope be part of your next days. And may you go with the knowledge that your community is with you now and until we meet again and even beyond. Amen? Amen. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. One more time, let's say, where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Go in peace, dear ones. Amen.